them for all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the President's Hour, and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.sierragemedia.org. Now who's tem these?
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us, host Chumaba.
When I was young, a lot of things were different. Unfortunately, most of the differences seen now are heartbreaking and are not good at all.
Before now, men were strong protectors of the weak, fathers, brothers, lovers, sons. Their mere presence guaranteed the safety of women and children.
But what do we do now?
Men harassing and raping women.
Men sexually abuse little girls.
Men battering and killing their wives.
Any form of sexual assault, be it rape, sexual abuse, or pedophilia, is a killer to human self-esteem.
Women should stop dying in silence.
Speak now.
The rapist should be stigmatized, not the victim.
I think death sentence should be the consequence of such terrible act.
And you mothers, build confidence in your children, put trust in them, listen to them when they make reports, and take necessary actions.
Talking of mothers before now, women were virtuous.
They were mothers, daughters, and sisters.
Nurturing, counseling, supporting their men folks.
But now,
Women are trafficking female children for money.
women are forced to be silenced.
All this must stop, and it must stop now.
Real men do not abuse, rape, or molest women and children. It is barbaric, unacceptable.
Let all real men stand with us.
Together, let's say an emphatic no to rape, sexual abuse, pedophilia, and domestic violence.
Our aim is to teach our pupils to be creative, critical thinkers, to be innovative, and to become the new entrepreneurs of Sierra Leone and Africa moving the African continent beyond the 21st century.
Jobs are going to change. The nature of work is going to fundamentally change.
We realize companies are starting to hire on skills and not degrees.
Currently, I'm a self-taught coding beginner. I develop websites and basic applications. I've been interested in science and technology since I was 11. An up-to-date STEM lab gives us what we need, the tools, motivates us to do more.
The Scholarship and Innovation Working Group from Old Boys Association has been working with both Reverend Canon Ken Davis and Canon Lashite to see how they can increase science and STEM at the school.
STEM is important because pupils can learn how to solve real-world situations and pursue careers in web development, artificial intelligence, robotics, chemical engineering, and the sky is the limit to what a pupil can do.
So a vision for the future entails computing capability that would create a STEM innovation lab to provide all students with practical, engaging, and self-learning opportunities to gain digital skills.
One of the use of the microbit is to test for science experiments. In the case of agricultural science, we want to test for the soil. You can download information about the type of soil on your computer, and then you take the microbit, download the information on the microbit.
STEM gives us the knowledge, gives us the capacity with the science, the technology, engineering and mathematics. It helps you to be able to prepare for the future, to be able to earn your place in the future workplace.
The coding club is new, and we only have a few members for now. And very soon we will have a big coding club.
Let us give the young people the tools to become critical minerals or miners of their thoughts and ideas that will develop our countries, and also for them to play their part in creating a conceivable world.
All donations are appreciated, and all funds raised will go towards the development, implementation, and management of this first-of-a-kind digital STEM lab in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone Grammar School, empowering students for tomorrow's world.
I was raped multiple times by my aunt's boyfriend when I was 6.
I was repeatedly raped at the age of 8 by a close family member.
I was raped at 19. I didn't speak openly about it because I was ashamed and afraid that people would judge me.
I was raped at age 5 by my caregiver's husband.
On June 17th, 2020, 5-year-old Khadija Sakho, a beautiful little girl from Freetown, Sierra Leone, was repeatedly raped and strangled to death, allegedly by her own cousin. Her death shocked the nation. But in truth, in this small West African country, 9 out of 10 girls experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. Think about that for a second. 9 out of 10. That's 90%. My name is Aisha Sase. I'm a journalist and activist. I'm joining forces with Idris Elba and other activists from across Sierra Leone to support the survivors of sexual violence with the Survivors Solidarity Fund. Please consider donating whatever you can afford. All monies raised will go to 4 local organizations currently providing free medical and legal services to survivors. 5-year-old Khadija lost her life to sexual violence. That same threat remains for millions of others. So this is also a call for you to use your voice, your power, to draw attention to an enduring culture of rape. Together, we must end it now. My name is Aisha Sase. I am Khadija Sako.
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 We are Khadija Sako.
We are all Khadija Sako.
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us, host Chumaba.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on which day. Welcome to Sierra Leone Media Platform again, whose I will say African stories has to be told by Africans. We get to make sure, say, we shape the narrative, we tell your story, because we other person tell out for you. Link story that we tell you, or stomach story. So we make sure, say, we talk and get how we go understand. Welcome to Zooming In. Today we get an exclusive interview as we don't see the advert we don't send out for the last couple of days, almost a week now, and it will be an exciting conversation today. We're not here for a conversation or discussion we get, and therefore be light-hearted and interesting, and we deep for ask them questions. There is something that they can ask na social media, can doubt board, or with some people even free for us. So we ask, okay, possibly we'll get the answer, possibly not. But we will also ask the question and provoke the conversation. Then Jumaba, as always, on our host, and I will ask you please keep the conversation clean. You can be as passionate as possible in your comments and your questions, but let me make sure so we keep our civil. Now the only way that we will understand ourselves and we get something we will take home with me. As always, the Sierra Leone Media team, I have Sylvester Luba, we now the co-moderator, and the they keep the chat group. Again, the week today, they take joke as you make it, they delete you. So make sure say you can be passionate, whether we keep the language as clean as possible. Thank you so much in advance. T-Boy, say hello to family. But this I tell you, go my voice. Now you hear me?
Some volume.
So now you hear me? Now you hear me?
Good evening, on a crucial, on a cardboard. Do my collect for the bad memory. Don't give me the claim now. Maybe not even ready for the claim. It's by the whole now anyway.
When you don't get choice,
I hope for see you now and you will find. You might not see that again till you not this one.
I think nil, you know.
At least I love it to me. It still stands to me. Millions of football fans are usually the watch. But today we get something on the line, we have something on the pipeline, and very good for everybody. And I believe, say, we waited at the chat, we have to keep it simple. If you want to tell us I get killing, but definitely I will not make use of the kill because you will not be relevant. So, hope to see you guys having a very good conversation.
Alright, we go make sure say Mr. Palmer check with a CC sound. It's a challenge right now. Mr. Palmer, if you can check for us, say they're not hearing me voice them better. I don't know if our voice them don't more than 2 days or so. Mr. Palmer, please check sound for me. So people that don't begin it's up now neck already say Sierra Media is on the line. So we don't get asking on the line. We wrote down to ask questions. So that's it and nothing more. Can you hear us now? Let us know when you have good sound, please. Please, when I read sound, let we know.
I think that is sound, and in fact, no one said the but that is sound definitely.
Okay, alright. So, and of course, Mr. Palmer behind the scenes when our technical person is doing his best to make sure say we bring can sound to us on a very program. Our family we guest today now the Commissioner for the Anti-Corruption Commission for Sierra Leone, Mr. Francis Ben Kaifala. We will say the man will get one of the most difficult jobs in Sierra Leone. Sometimes you let come, sometimes you let come, depending whose part you did at the eye. But you know, it's there, it's serving its purpose, and we hope say it is served in the interest of Sierra Leone. All that we will ask today, and we will make sure so we get the answer. So when I say they keep on questions them coming in and comment them. Therefore all the questions that we will remember for asking us today. I will welcome Mr. Francis Ben Kaifala to Sierra Media, and please say hello to family.
Hello, family.
Alright, thank you so much. Again, we still we say the sound, but we're going to improve as we go along. Mr. Kaifala, thank you for coming, and family, like how we say, we don't try to get them for weeks, months now, but we know in busy schedule we're not able to make them. But the good thing is he's been very communicative, so that's a good thing. Finally able to make them this week, and we make sure to take advantage of this opportunity we get. Let me start first. You get one of the biggest jobs that I come today, and the Anti-Corruption Commission set up in 2000, you know, close to the end of the war, as part of building good governance and making sure say the government work for we and work in the interest of Sierra Leone. So you take over most recently, and we want to tell you waiting at the Anti-Corruption Commission in mandate and waiting at your mandate as the commissioner. The reason why we ask that because we want to set the basis so all men understand. We don't want to assume say people already know, because the word corruption now everybody interest. So what's the corruption? No go to Ben Kaifala. Ben Kaifala you not do that yet, or no go to Anti-Corruption Commission. So over to you.
Well, the commission set up, as we all know, the commission is set up the year the law for set them up. They make them 2000, by 2001 institution itself is set up. And you get the initial setup, you get powers to prosecute, you get offenses the way you will cover the very few, and generally it was more lackluster. So going forward in 2008, They began for reform the law, and they began for pass the Anti-Corruption Amendment Act 2008. And in that act, under Section 7, they get wide-ranging powers that the Commission get, where it could for do everything necessary for investigate, reduce, and eradicate corruption. And in doing that, they also get powers for prevent corruption. We get powers for prosecute corruption. We get powers for investigate corruption. We also get a responsibility for educate the public on the evils of corruption and for enlist them for support in the fight. So more generally, that's our broad role. The Anti-Corruption Commission of Sierra Leone are one of these corruption fighting institutions that we get the widest responsibilities in Africa. Very complete on 4 pillars: prevention, investigation, prosecution, and public education.
Okay, so that's the mandate of the commission itself. So you as the commissioner, waiting are your role and waiting are your mandate?
The role really now for head the institution. The role get 3 responsibilities fused in one. So first of all, I get the responsibility for administer the institution. I also get the responsibility for coordinate the national effort against corruption. I also get the responsibility for prosecute corruption, for be the chief prosecutor, the chief investigator for corruption. I also get responsibility for ensure, say, we account to the people of Sierra Leone by providing a report to the president annually. So basically, all their functions, their responsibilities, their way they inside Section 7 of the Anti-Corruption Act. Now me get the responsibility for lead the effort towards achieving them.
All right, so far so good. Now big role Andy for a country. You go say a sizable country, but culture and things that we don't happen in the past, we're not saying a big responsibility. What do you think, say, overall now the commission in success since inception and since where you don't take over as commissioner?
Well, as a commission, you know, say this commission will set up, and a lot of about 5 commissioners that don't come before me. They play their own role, varying degrees, some more pronounced than others. But one thing is clear, that they all play their own role in trying to lay the foundation for fight corruption. Some were very successful. Some did their own roles in other areas. Some lay emphasis in some areas. For example, you will have Tijankol emphasizing more on grand corruption, and you get Adi Macaulay emphasizing more on petty corruption. But generally, they all do everything they could to address corruption. And the institution have been very successful, actually. I think, say, the country not really give the credit to the institution as much as it should, even before me come on the scene, because there are many things they did. Foundationally, the staffs are very well committed. I mean, we all know in a country where the politics is very toxic, a lot of things happen in between. But I think they have done their best over the years. There have been many successful prosecutions. There have been many successful investigations. They have done a lot of prevention work. Of course, they were also doing a lot of mass public education. And these things were very successful. I mean, maybe they may not have been performing as much as we are performing now in terms of what the indexes are returning. And that may be because probably of the approach, but they did their best. Under my leadership, basically, what I have done is to really build a robust anti-corruption fight built on the 4 pillars: investigation, prosecution, prevention, and public education, which was really what was there. But I tried to make the fight more visible. I tried to enlist the public more. We have tried to ensure that there's a lot more public relations, public education around our work, because you see, one of the problems they may have had is the way they were telling their own story. When you allow other people to be in control of the storytelling of what you do, sometimes they present it the way they feel, and sometimes it makes it feel like you are not doing a great work. But we have really tried to change that, and we have tried to build a robust public education and public relations system that has control of the storytelling over the fight against corruption. And that is why probably we are getting it. And of course, what we are doing, we have made the fight against corruption very visible. If you want to know about prosecutions, you see every time we are putting out, when we charge somebody to court, we put out a visible press release and we build a powerful press public relations around it. And we have had very successful prosecution rate. I mean, the highest ever within the period that I have been there. So we have also ensured that we build a system that is connected to those who measure the fight against corruption. So you see that every index is showing, every survey is showing that there is a lot more success of what we are doing now than ever before. So we are scoring higher than ever before in all indexes. We are producing a lot of results in courts. But more importantly, when I came in, I thought that there was a weakness with the fight against corruption in Sierra Leone, in that it was more person-based. It was a fight that was going after the person. And we thought that that is a really skewed way to fight corruption. A good and a strong fight against corruption does not necessarily just go after the person, it goes after what is lost. It goes after the asset. And that is why you see that asset recovery has been a lot more pronounced during the time I have been in office. And our recovery rate in this period that I have been there is higher than everything that was recovered more for the 18 years before I came to the scene. Okay. So, I mean, everywhere you look, you'll see. I mean, we are not saying that we are out of the woods, but what we are doing right now at the commission, it is difficult to argue against, because you'll be arguing against statistics. And of course.
So let's go to that statistics, Mr. Kaifala. Let's start first. So in your own conviction, the Anti-Corruption Commission, as it stands, you're winning the fight against corruption.
I think we are doing a lot with the fight against corruption, and the success rate is showing that if we continue at that rate, yes, indeed, we are winning the fight against corruption.
Okay,
because so those indexes, those rates, those measures, those perception surveys, whatsoever you look at it. For example, if Afrobarometer measures that corruption prevalence has reduced from 70% in 2017 to 40% in 2020, I mean, that is statistics, that's data.
Right.
And you can see the consistency with which these things are happening. It did not just come from 70 and go down to 40%. It first went down to 43%, and now it has gone down to 40%. So I believe that these are data-driven research. And of course, I am a man who believes in data. I believe in science. And I don't think there's any other way we can measure what we are doing beyond relying on the data that is being done, not by us, by independent institutions, and whether locally or internationally, all of them are confirming one thing, that corruption has reduced drastically in Sierra Leone. We are not saying that everything is over. We are not saying that the battle has the war has been won, but we are saying that the battles are being successful everywhere.
Yeah. And then the same data or the same perception surveys point fingers on institutions.
Yes.
Okay. For example, the same perception surveys say the office of the president, you're one of the most corrupt, institutions, parliament, and the Sierra Leone police. But we know the Anti-Corruption Commission do anything about that.
No. Listen.
Okay.
This is the misconception. A perception survey is not evidence.
Okay.
The perception survey is asking people, what do you think about Sierra Gem? Do you think they are a good radio station?
Mm-hmm.
If more people say that Sierra Gem is not a good radio station, does not mean you are a bad radio station necessarily.
Okay.
So it may just be that is how they perceive it. It may be is the way you are conducting yourself. It may be the way you address issues. It may be the way you are failing. Like, remember at the beginning of this conversation, I told you about storytelling.
Correct.
Storytelling is very important about leadership. And one thing that lost leadership that is arrogant, for example, when you were trying to reach me to come on this program, I will always get back to you and say, right now I'm so busy, I cannot come. Okay? Now, if I want to manage the perception of the people on your program, the worst thing I can do to myself is to ignore them, because they are a section of society.
Correct.
But if I come and sit down and have this frank conversation with you, I will never know whether those people are going to be the ones somebody is going to ask tomorrow, what do you think about ACC? Before coming here, they may not know what I am about to say today, or they may not have understood it the way I am presenting it. So storytelling is very important. So some of these institutions, I am not trying to defend them, but there are many reasons that package what perception is. There are some people, they will just see you and say, Mr. Ba is a very proud man. But if they come close to you, they end up finding out that you are not proud at all. It was just because you were not used to them. So that is what perception is. So, for example, you do not expect Anti-Corruption Commission to now go and say, you, Mr. President, come and sit down here. Perception has said you are corrupt. No.
No, I'm not referring to the president, but the office of the president. So the reason
I'm saying,
and the reason why
perception does not necessarily, it does not confirm where there is corruption. It's people, it's what somebody feels. Okay, right. Our work at the ACC is evidence-based.
Okay.
So for example, if now somebody comes and says, whenever I go to the president's office to seek anything, including a contract, somebody there has to ask me for a bribe. Okay? And we have that evidence and we do not do something about it, then that is where we have a problem. But for somebody to say parliament is corrupt, for somebody to say the presidency is corrupt, does not necessarily mean, I mean, it is true. I am not saying it is not true, but we are evidence-based institution. We have to now go and do the heavy lifting.
Right. So the reason why I'm asking, Mr. Commissioner, is because you stated here that you're a man that believes in data, in science, and you use that to measure or to explain to people the success rate of the Anti-Corruption Commission, more so, since you took over as the commissioner. So if you're using that as, a benchmark for us to believe that, yes, the Anti-Corruption Commission is doing a good job, so why can't we use that same perception? Because they did a survey as well. They use science and data to back their...
No, that is where, again, the narrative gets blurred.
Okay.
What you guys do is to take all these surveys as the same survey. It is not correct.
Okay.
Afrobarometer is a different survey, and Afrobarometer measures corruption prevalence, not corruption perception. And that is why they go to households. They actually put boots on the ground. Okay. For example, Transparency International measures corruption perception. How does the public think about public service, about access to public resources? Okay.
Right.
And the same thing, for example, MCC deals with secondary data. They basically review other people's data and come to their own conclusions. So they are all not the same. So it is not all of them that measure actual corruption in terms of prevalence. That is why when I'm speaking to you, I refer to different indexes as I am speaking.
Correct.
So, for example, Afrobarometer measured corruption prevalence. That is not perception. Okay. And if Afrobarometer says, for example, there is concentration of corruption in parliament, we are not arguing with it. Okay? But all I am saying, that does not mean evidence has been put on the lap of the ACC commissioner.
Okay.
That is why, for example, when Honorable Gevao, in reaction to all these indexes confirmed that there is corruption in parliament, we invited him to the ACC to say, okay, Honorable Gevao, thankfully, we now have somebody who is in parliament who is saying that there's corruption in parliament. Can you now guide us to get to this? We have to understand modus operandi. How do they do it? Who are involved? Who, what, when, how? If we do not have that, we have to wait to have it, because at the end of the day, you are not just going to hold any parliamentarian and just drag him to the ACC because somebody says, I think he's corrupt.
Right. So how is that going so far?
Well, we as I told you, we spoke with Honorable Gevao. We came out to the press release to say Honorable Gevao definitely did not provide much to support his own claim. And I heard today he apologized in parliament and things like that. Look, we are all not saying that parliament is not corrupt, but we need to get the evidence. And you see, whistleblowing comes out of courage. When you have the courage to say that somebody is corrupt, if it is me, Francis Ben Kaifala, somebody thinks that I'm corrupt, it's for that person to have the courage to point to what means, why do you say Kaifala is corrupt? But if you just look at him and say he's corrupt because you do not like his hair, It can well be your perception. And several people can have that perception, but it does not mean it's true.
Right.
For us to know that he's corrupt, we now have to go to check in his account, what payments he received, who are the ones who are bribing him behind closed doors, and all these things. And trust me, that is really what our work is. So, and sometimes these things, corruption is insidious. To get to that evidence is the real task, is the real work. So we are not cherry picking perception.
Okay.
But we are saying that, again, we can rely on that data to determine prevalence. Okay. But it does not necessarily mean evidence is with us for us to prove it.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much. So, you know, I'm gonna get to whistleblowing at some point in our conversation. But let me go back to you mentioned the statistics and all of those things, you know, and we see the most recent MCC scorecard, then the Afrobiometer that you highlighted, which is good for the country because that builds investors' confidence and a whole lot of other issues, you know, where possibly go deter people and forgo risk alone. So let me come to the Anti-Corruption Commission own data, because when I look on our website, the only data where I see in terms of quick access data now for 2016 and 2018. Possibly that is not detailed enough, or possibly the information is somewhere we may not able to see. How much investigations there were where you don't do since you come, or we're still pending, and how many prosecutions then where you don't do, or where you
we get a turnover of about 350 to 400 investigations per annum.
Okay.
Okay, and sometimes you have investigations carried over from before.
Right.
And some of these investigations, the outcomes vary, okay? Some of them we refer for administrative action. So maybe somebody may have done something wrong, but it is not so serious that we have to prosecute. Maybe usually the person did not follow certain processes that are minor. Okay, it does not lead to economic loss to the institution or to the government or to the country, but what he did is very bad. We can refer, like civil servants, we refer it to the civil service code for them to apply the civil service code to him and punish him.
Okay.
So we have several cases that go in that direction for different MDAs. It could be Ministry of Water Resources, it could be Ministry of Energy, it could be one parastatal there, it could be any institution whatsoever of government. We do a lot of that, okay? But we also do what we call recovery. At the end of the day, we finish and we'll find out that there's no point going to court. Because one, the person is not denying liability. We have already proven beyond reasonable doubt that he has stolen. And sometimes the evidence is unreliable. We are not sure what prosecution will bring, but sometimes the evidence is so sharp that there is no point. So we give the option to the person to pay back the money, and then we return it to the country. And then most times, in addition, we also recommend administrative action against the person. Some are dismissed from the public service, some are suspended, some are expelled, as the case may be. Some are demoted, as the case may be. We also have the other aspect that is for us to now prosecute. We look at your case and we see that this one is so serious that we need to have an example out of this. We cannot settle it. We cannot refer it to administrative action. We have to send it to court for the court to decide the liability. Most times either because the person himself believes that he's innocent and we believe in our evidence against him, so we prosecute. But sometimes it's because of the seriousness of what has been done that there is no point to waste time for it to send it to court. So there is anything between 300 and 400 of those, but they are filtered as the end comes, okay? And very few end up going for prosecution, but many goes in other ways. But also, the last category is those who we can look at and say, no, even after we have investigated, there is no case. There's nothing. We exonerate them and we free them.
So this is the challenge. We talk about perception again, public perception. There are some cases wherein people say the Anti-Corruption Commission, through that administrative route for out-of-court settlement, one, they coerce people, they seize advantage from people and try for make them pay, even if the people say they
no.
That's one scenario.
Then
no, but let me clear that first.
Okay, go ahead.
All our settlements are purely voluntary.
Okay.
And that is why the entire world is coming to study Sierra Leone. How is that happening? Why would anybody come back and pay voluntarily? Nobody has ever been coerced to pay a single cent at the ACC. The over $2.5 million that we have recovered whilst I am there, the 25 billion euros that has been recovered whilst I am there, was people who were confronted with the evidence of our investigation, and we tell them, you can pay now, and we cut the country's loss. We have too many cases to cut. We don't want to add to that portfolio, and you move. Or we prosecute you. And they themselves say, yes, sir, I am going to pay back. And they pay. There is not a single soul that has ever been coerced to pay a single dime at the ACC. If one person puts his hand up on earth to say that he was coerced to pay a single cent to ACC, and it's proven that it's true, I'll resign.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I will hold you on that. We'll make sure we notate that here. Please. And also, there's another perception. Say, the cases the way you refer to say, una they send, una investigate, una say there is no case to answer. You know, mostly now because una they try for cover, either for political reasons or some other connections, or sometimes rope go draw bush and the country will turn forest. Example, here is the case of the chief minister was one case. The 49,000 bags of rice, another case, and so many other cases that we don't come up where people and they say, the perception. I make a tell you say the perception. So you tell
me. That is true, and that perception is driven by malicious intentions, and sometimes it's driven out of ignorance. For example, when Salti, a journalist, said that the chief minister was bribed $1.5 million, I got to him to say, can you just come help us understand what this allegation is about so we can get to the bottom of it? He insulted me on the phone. The next morning he was on 98.1 and said that I am the chief minister's blue-eyed boys, that I wanted to bully him. Some other things happened between him and the police, which I was not really involved. But trust me, when I spoke with Salti, the intention was to get to the bottom of that issue.
Right.
The intention was to do my job as commissioner of the ACC, and there was an allegation of corruption against a public officer, the chief minister. But even when Salti refused to cooperate with me, I went on with the investigation. I called the managing director of EcoBank, where he alleged that the payment was received, on the phone and asked her if anything like that happened. I followed this up with a notice. She wrote back to me in writing, in blue. It's there to say no such payment has ever received. In fact, Chief Minister does not have an account with us. No such amount has ever passed in any account that belongs to Chief Minister. We went to FIU. Every financial transaction in Sierra Leone is seen by FIU.
Right.
They are like our own eyes when it comes to financial movements. We ask them, not just Chief Minister, did any payment come in within the past 2 months that is flagged as $1.5 million or to Chief Minister or anything that he's interested in? They too got back to us and said, it has never happened. We went publicly, we put out a notice. When we put out that public notice after the investigation, we were not saying that the investigation is over. It was an update to the public. In that update, we said the investigation is open. You can still go and find it and look at it.
Right.
It said the investigation remains open. If there is any evidence that comes up to show that the chief minister was ever bribed $1.5 million, please bring it forward. We'll look into it. From that date to date, not a single soul, not a single evidence. That allegation against the chief minister is one of the most unfounded allegations that I have seen since I became commissioner. It's totally untrue. It never happened. Even if it did, we do not have the evidence. So when I see people sit down on television and on radio and on social media writing things that they do not understand, I'm looking at them like, do you think I get dressed every day to go to work to cover a public officer's theft? What will I gain by that? But the whole truth remains that there was no truth. When it came to the rice saga, yes, we withdrew the rice case from court.
And why was that?
Because I went on 98.1 and told you that the Attorney General attacked us. The Attorney General, for the first time in history, wrote to me. She did not just say, I am not going to give you the right to try this case by trial by judge alone. She said that I will not do it. I went and informed the public, nobody said anything. They were pushing us for us to try the case by trial by jury. And jury trial in Sierra Leone is totally unreliable. Because we all know what happens. We do not want to start sacrificing corruption cases to jury trial. So once we received that letter from the Attorney General and all other things that happened around it, I was under pressure from the judge to move on with the case. The lawyers were making applications in court. Everybody was putting pressure. And I was this close to agreeing for us to start the trial by jury. But again, we sat down as a commission. We took a decision to say, no, let's come back, sit down, review this case, make a decision, and move forward. Let's look at the issues that the Attorney General is claiming that the case is unjust, against the board, and all these things. So we have a clear position. So when we now move, we move with one force. And that file is under review as I speak with you. The prosecutors and the investigators are looking at it again. They are reviewing the evidence, and they are going to come back with the final report. And once that report comes, we are going to come back to public with the final position. But it was never that that case was compromised. It was never because Timo is a minister. That is why that happened.
But the government undermined your institution's work, and by the look of things, the president endorsed it because the president reinstated Honorable Alpha Timbo when the case is still under review.
Well, I cannot comment on that, but all I know is that we are still continuing to do our job with respect to that file, and the president has never interfered with our work. So I am sure when that time comes, as he speaks now, technically there is no indictment against him, and if there is no indictment against somebody, that person technically can continue his role.
Okay.
But to say that we did it because of any pressure from anybody, no, that's not true. That's not correct.
Okay, so let's go to cases. Now you've told us that you have about 300 cases per annum and that's a whole lot of work for the commission itself. How many of those are high-profile cases that you're dealing with right now?
Well, we don't view cases from high profile, low profile, or anything. We view cases as cases. No, normally, cases are ranked by the degree of offense that the person committed. Okay. So I don't know what you mean by high-profile cases. So every case we charge to court, we put out a press release around it.
Right.
So if you do your due diligence, you can even just go to the Facebook page of the ACC or go to our website. Every press release is there. You go to my Twitter page and make sure I publish them there. You will see the cases, and you have a right to now determine which one you think is a high profile.
We're going to talk about your Twitter shortly. Don't worry. We'll talk about that. So, again, the reason I make an ask, because now public perception. Public say, Anti-Corruption Commission, they go after the small fish them. You understand? And then the Scorpion Squad only swift for go after the small fish. That's the public perception. That's why I'm asking you.
If you go through the cases that they say we have tried directors, we are investigating ministers from Denis Sandi to Alpha Timbo to many other ministers. We have tried and investigated permanent secretaries. We have had convictions against current ministers' government. We've had convictions against people in this current government. Convictions. For example, Dr. Sarah Bendu was head of Sierra Leone Maritime Agency. She's standing trial right now in court.
Okay.
We are recovering from her about 500 million euros. We have already recovered over 300 million euros from her. So there are many other people. Those who stole the Commission of Inquiry money, those were highly placed people, directors, accountants in a ministry. They were tried and convicted. We have investigated every case. Even the chief minister we investigated. Even the state chief of protocol. Even though we found out that she was not liable, but at least we investigated somebody in that kind of high position right in the office of the president and came with a conclusion.
So
even the chief minister's case was investigated. Right. And the file remains open. So I don't know what they mean by high profile. Maybe they have to manufacture their own people for us to treat them as high profile. But what I am trying to tell you, and this is what I was telling you when you asked the question,
right.
We do not filter cases because it is Mr. X. It's about the evidence. Where does the evidence lead? For example, they are talking about those people who are low there. They are the ones that's copy. If we are really prosecuting all those low there, I am telling you, we'll have 600 cases in court. Some of them we just refer for administrative action. Some of them we just warn, we caution and discharge them. Some of them we just try to manage it by public education. Some of it we send in our prevention team to do prevention work. Probably that is why we are being very successful with our work. That is why now it is showing that what we are doing is having a lot more result than before. Because the techniques that we are using to fight corruption is a carefully plotted engineering deposited into the system, and it is producing results on a scale that has never been seen before. No matter where you come from, you want to argue against it, we can argue against it. We have control over the data. Those who assess us independently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, all independently cannot assess the same institution and come to the same conclusion. And you say, no, things are so bad that, no. That is not how things are done.
So
we do not differentiate between high profile or low profile. Okay. The question is, where does the evidence lead us? And if we do not have evidence against you, we do not have evidence against you.
Okay. So how do you form your evidence, firstly, and then how much information, because you say where the investigation leads. I like that word, because you can't just be chasing shadows, right?
Exactly.
And then the issue about whistleblowers, you mentioned the Salty situation. And Salty, from what we saw, even possibly before you called him, he was being already threatened, police sent to, or people perceived to be state security personnel.
No, I spoke to Salty before all those things unfolded.
Okay.
And like I said, I still stand by what I did.
Okay.
My idea, I am a very proactive commissioner. When those people went to the border and took money from those tourists and they made that video and the country was looking bad, and we moved in swiftly and arrested people and did a lot of things around, and the entire country was clapping. But when it was Salty, they thought that we did bad. No, it's only being proactive. We go after the evidence as fast and as swiftly as possible, so as we can get results for the country. So going after evidence, there are many ways.
Okay.
Most times people help us with our investigation. You see, we will only change the story of the country consistently if people are courageous enough to trust the institution to come forward with evidence. And that is why, even when I have public speaking in Africa, because I get invited in all these other countries to really present the Sierra Leone model to them, because Sierra Leone now has a model of fighting corruption, which the entire Africa is running after to understand and to employ in their country. So when I'm speaking to them, I tell them one thing. The fight against corruption belongs to the people. Politicians are never going to buy into the fight against corruption 100%. All you can pray for is for it to be beyond 50%. But it is the reaction of the people that can actually lead to a successful fight. So, for example, if Salty did not have cynicism inside him to doubt when I called him to come forward and let's have a conversation about the scoop that he had as a journalist, I was going to be able to do my work better because he could have led me.
Right.
Okay? And the same thing for people who work in institutions. Those who go in these public institutions and they ask them for bribery. For example, in Parliament, we put out a press release to say if anybody has ever gone to Parliament and bribed anybody in Parliament, let the person come forward. Do you know the number that has come forward?
No.
0.
But again, people are scared because they don't get witness protection and things like that.
I agree. 61%, the survey that was done by the PFM consortium, 61% of the population says that they are afraid of retaliation.
Right.
The same thing for Afrobarometer. It was 69%, it has gone up to 63%. So that is the statistics that scares us, and that is why, as I speak with you, we are now working on a whistleblower policy. Right now, as I speak with you, it has already been drafted. We are doing the editings, and we are going to import to bring it to the population. And I've had conversations with World Bank for them to buy into implementing it. But the whole idea behind it is to...
What's your timeline for that?
Because you see, Even that is why most times, even high profile, what people call high profile prosecutions do not succeed. Because when you take it to court, you rely on people to testify. The ACC cannot prosecute by itself. The ACC cannot be the only witnesses in a case against anybody. They will fail. So if the people are not willing to support the prosecution efforts of the ACC, we are wasting our time. It is really you same people who will be there saying, oh, ACC not they win one case. All 10 they lost case. All 10 they lost case. You think the ACC charges cases to court to lose? It's because of the credibility of the witnesses and people to come forward. And most times we are constrained. The time when people are, there are two times when they are over happy, they are ready to talk to us. Also when they are unhappy, like somebody goes for a bid and loses the bid, he's ready to come and say, oh, I will give you everything, Commissioner, I will give you everything. And probably they call him and talk to him. The next time you are calling the man, his phone is off. He will tell you that he's in Kwendu. After Kwendu, he's going to Monrovia. After Monrovia, he's going to the US. He will be coming back in 3 weeks. And for the investigation to move forward, you have to be calling this man. Sometimes we even have to threaten the arrest before they can come forward. So these are all difficulties that we are facing. And I agree the statistics of people who are afraid of retaliation is high, particularly when it comes to people in governance.
Right.
But we have to do our job and we have to make sure we go after the evidence, but we cannot rely on speculation to do so. Right. If people want to help us with our work, if they whistle blow, they should have the courage to see it through.
Right. So we have an, whistleblowing peeps or, paper, the African Express, for example. We've been seeing so many publications from them, the past months, and they're leading the anti-corruption and the public to evidence, hard evidence, because meaning that they're not just writing, they're bringing out letters, they're bringing out, something substantial that can start off, the investigation. One. Secondly, the African Express, here in one of our programs, they offered to help the Anti-Corruption Commission with their investigations. So have you approached them? Because I'm sure you must have seen the Timbergate issue that they've highlighted and so many things that they've been doing.
The African Express is doing a great job because, first of all, we must commend them. They are contributing to the narrative and bringing to fore issues around corruption. But make no mistake, the African Express is not whistleblowing in all cases. Okay? So for example, if there is a draft audit report, which has not been published, which has not been confirmed, which is yet under review. For example, the excerpt that he's taking out of this, what he says is an audit report now that he's put into the public as if this is confirmed. At best, it is a draft. Okay, he may have access to it how he wants it. But those reports, I know for sure that some of them are under audit queries. Basically, they've come back to the institution to ask them, now this is what we found out when we came to audit your institution. Can you now give your answers? Their answers are going to be factored into the final audit that is going to be tabled before Parliament. So if African Express now takes something that has not had that kind of response and puts it out there and says that this is now so much corruption, 500 billion euros missing, it may just be that 500 billion euros at the time the auditors went, the supporting documents were not provided. Maybe the man who was in charge of providing the supporting document was doing some conference in Botswana. But he's now back, and when this question comes back, his minister has said, look, if you do not provide these documents, you are going to be sacked. And he's going to provide, and this is what has happened with the audits over the years. I'm sure you have been following the serialized reports that we have been putting out based on the previous audits. And you see how many of them we have come out to say that, for example, from Bay College, they said over 6 billion euros was stolen for over 3 years. That was what the audit was capturing. But when we went in, they gave us the documents to confirm that not a single cent was badly applied.
Okay.
The loans that they say were destroyed were not even loans at all. So what I am trying to say is China is doing a great job. Having access to these things, no matter how you look at it, is good for the anti-corruption space. It keeps the actors in those offices on their toes. But it does not become a whistleblowing purely because you've had access to an unfinalized audit report and you put it out there with excerpts and you now think that this is corruption. No, it is not. It will become corruption when the audit confirms it and the final report comes out, and what I can assure the people of Sierra Leone is, when that audit is finalized and put out there, and it says Ministry X stole 1 billion, Ministry X will have to answer to anti-corruption what happened to that 1 billion. And in most cases, because we have more powers, because they know that we can do a lot of things, including detention for 10 days, they come running with the documents once we call them and ask them.
Okay.
So the Africanist press is not a whistleblower at this stage.
Okay.
Unless they are only having access to draft documents that they are putting out.
All right, two things. But one particular is the issue of timber with Leadway. We saw from what's happening now and other letters that's coming out from the Ministry of Finance shows that what's been happening has been a breach of Act of Parliament, wherein Parliament says, the Act says you have to charge per cubic meters, but then they were charging per container, or the returns they gave back or revenue they give to government was per container. And that is vivid because now the most recent letter from the Ministry of Finance is stating that it was an error. How can an Act of Parliament be an error of that magnitude, where the country is losing billions of dollars?
What Act of Parliament are we talking about?
The one about timber, regulating what they are supposed to pay in terms of revenue.
No, I'm not aware of any legislation that regulates that. What I know that there's a draft legislation that they now want to table in Parliament, and in that draft legislation, they refer to measuring timber by container.
Right. But the one that
I'm not aware of a legislation which is current, which says so. Maybe I am wrong. But I am not in the business of timber, but I don't think there's any such legislation. But again, coming back to that, why are we assuming that the timber trade and the payments to government will not be audited by the Auditor General?
No, we're not saying it's not been audited. What we're saying is there's been conversation going, Leadway stating that they're supposed to measure by timber, but the Act of Parliament that gave them the right to export timber and all of that says you charge per cubic meters. So this is what the Ministry of Finance.
That is what I am saying. I'm not aware of any legislation that says so.
So, but then so are you going to take African Express on their offer to help with investigation?
Oh yes, I am ready. Cherno communicate.
Okay.
He knows that if he has information about corruption, the right thing for him to do is to send it to me, to have a conversation around it. He has never done so. Not a single time has he ever sent me even message, even by WhatsApp, and he has my number. We are friends on Facebook. He could send it to my Facebook. We have chatted on Facebook many times, he and I. Or he could find a way to reach me because we have several mutual friends, apart from the fact that he and I as well, I could not say we are friends in that we are close, but we are very good acquaintances. We communicate when necessary. I was in the US studying when he went to study as well in Chicago. And when I was in Texas, we used to communicate a lot among ourselves. Even during the elections, we used to share ideas together. There's nothing wrong in him bringing things to my attention. But I think the whole idea behind what he does is not really the idea of whistleblower, it's the glory that goes with it, that the African Express has put this out. And I can say this without any malice to him, that he's misunderstanding a lot of things that he's putting out. For you to have a draft audit report does not mean it is now corruption. Suddenly ACC should start running after people. Particularly when ACC knows that there is already conversation happening between the auditor and the institutions to clarify issues. It reduces our work. So by the time we come in at a point when the issue is bare. If we go in now, we'll be doing a fool's errand, and not anybody is going to make me into a fool. I will not. I know exactly what I am doing. We at the Commission are very focused on our task and our responsibility. Nobody needs to remind us. And we are doing it, and we are doing it well. And I can assure you that any audit that comes out which captures the things that Cherno has been putting out, if it turns out to be true, we'll take steps about them.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Fambulem, una they listen to, Commissioner Francis Ben Kaifala, the Anti-Corruption Commissioner for Sierra Leone, boss for Sierra Leone. And, they talk about the work with the commission they do, the challenges,
and some of the things away the public perception and within the institution thing. So now that's covered. I'll go to T-Boy, let me see if we get questions them and comment, because I know say they don't boku. I know we want for go quick to you because we want for allow the commissioner for highlight a whole lot of things, and then we will try for round up shortly. Go ahead, T-Boy.
Welcome everybody. This not so if you get questions. So now if you get questions, because there is a lot of questions here today. But according to what they get through the chart of the questions, then most questions already you don't highlight them, and some of them commissioner don't answer to. Me gets about 2 pages of the one they will just be stretched quickly. Might just get some jottings of what exactly they go on at the chat groups. I'm not going to miss out on most of the questions then. I don't know whether you want to do them page by page. I think I get about 5 on one page and the other 5 on the next page. So how do you want me to do it?
5 go boku, 10 question go boku at 1 point for overload. But some of them possibly don't answer. So look at the one the way don't answer and skip, and only one the way possibly highlight on, please.
Okay, the first one we come from the chat now. Somebody they ask say, Mr. Commissioner, did you declare your asset before actually taking the appointment? Because that has been one of the most serious issues based on the fact that the country asks people for declaring assets when they go into government office. That's one. And the other one say, do you have to chase evidence as the commissioner, or you wait for make evidence come meet you on your desk? How can that be effective if you want for sort the issue of corruption in Sierra Leone? Then months ago, somebody highlighted that you actually indict people and where you actually put them narcotically for a crime committed, even though they haven't been investigated. They say if you get any guilt about that, or if anything like that happened, if you could do them again the same way, or if you have any regrets about doing that particular thing, especially where the entire country not been in favor of that incident. Then they also say, did you investigate the chief minister's accusation by the journalist just to protect his interest, or to actually investigate him for the fact that you want to investigate and prosecute? Because most comment they come say, you did the investigation to protect him and clear his name so that the nation will know for say this is a false allegation against him. And also they make reference to chief minister also say when he been take office, he actually branded some people as thieves. Do you think that he has already compromised any form of investigation towards those people?
Okay, let's take them step by step. I think we should answer those ones.
Yeah, so hold on first.
And I'll be quick. Some of them are straightforward.
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay. Did you declare your assets before taking the position? Yes, I did. I declared my assets in parliament. I declared my assets to this. In fact, I have done 3 declarations in the 2.5 years that I've been at the ACC. All of them will be there when I leave office. Okay? Because I have to live by example. The other questions that are being asked, whether I have to run after evidence, is 2 ways. Look, everywhere in the world, anti-corruption, because that is why we call it whistleblowing. People have to assist. People have to come. We do not have the eyes to see everything that is happening in every ministry, department, or agency. We rely on people to come forward. That does not mean that we ourselves do not do our intel. We have a very powerful intel system. That is why you see the Scorpio Squad is very successful. Because, for example, when we found out that corruption was happening at the EDSA, the people were stealing the money and enriching themselves instead of it going to the state, we went in with precision. All the time when you hear Scorpio Squad has gone here, Scorpio Squad has gone this, Scorpio Squad has done this, it's because we are acting on our own evidence. Sometimes it's because somebody prompted us and we take it forward from there. But you will always have to rely on people. You always have to ensure that there is a network of people. You can have your own systems in place, but the real success of the fight against corruption is about those little who can whisper in your ears and help you lead towards the evidence. Somebody who is in office with some other person who comes and says that, oh, this man made us sign this voucher yesterday and we collected 5 billion euros. You have to go there now. If not, the 5 billion euros is going to disappear. That is what the fight against corruption is about. We are not magicians. Francis Ben Kaifala is sitting down in his parlor right now. I do not know what is happening in any ministry or agency as I speak. But I have my intelligence to support, but we also rely on what people can do. So these are all things that are there. We try to do our best. We are not magicians. We are not claiming that everything we do is perfect. We are not, in fact, claiming that we can have all the answers, but our best is our best, and we are putting in our very best.
One more. Also, then they highlight, say, when you've been there as a member of the Renaissance, you suggest for make them do a Black Day march or Black Friday march based on the fact that for cuts down on corrupt issues that really happen in the country. Why, as the commissioner right now, you not support any kind of movement like that when the people of Sierra Leone wanted to do something similar in the same regards? And then also, they highlight, say, you totally don't announce, say, you believe in the judiciary system in Sierra Leone. As a commissioner, how can you prosecute anybody where they go through that system where you don't believe in the system?
Now, firstly, I'll be left one question that somebody say parading of teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said that what we did is normal. Criminals are paraded everywhere in the world before they stand trial. In America, they take mock shots of criminals, sometimes deceiving public. When drug lords are captured along the borders of Mexico and other places, in New York, they put them on TV and everybody sees. When people are captured with drugs on airports, in fact, they have an entire channel responsible for presenting what happened in those places. How we deal with our own criminals is our responsibility to define. And I am of the view that everything we did was within the law. So whether we have regrets about it or we do not have regrets about it is not really the most important thing. The most important thing is we did something about examination malpractice. And that's something we did about examination malpractice is probably the greatest thing that has happened to the educational sector ever. Because we were able to expose the rot that the country sat on, and that has led to a lot of policy reforms that are now informing what happened with the free quality education. And I'm sure well-meaning Sierra Leoneans appreciate what we did at that time. And we continue to share ideas about what is best with the fight against corruption. Also, there was a question about when I was in the Renaissance movement. Everything I said when I was in the Renaissance movement, I still stand by it and I still believe in it. But I am now commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Do you expect me to be the one leading protests? Do you expect me to be the one taking people to go and stand out at 43 to demonstrate against fuel hikes?
But people they'll say you're still a Sierra Leonean.
Yes, I am a Sierra Leonean and I am not changed. It is because of those things that I believed in, and I knew that all these things, the centrality of it is corruption. If we fight corruption conscientiously, we can be able to change the story of Sierra Leone, and we don't have to argue about those petty things, about fuel price, about subsidies, about all these things that are happening. But the bottom line is I, Francis Ben Kaifala, believe in everything that I said when I was member of, if I am still a member of the Renaissance movement, by the way. So do not even assume that I am not a member of the Renaissance movement. I am a very important figure in the Renaissance movement up to now. I still believe in everything I said. I still stand by everything I said, and I will do so again if the opportunity arises. But today, sitting here, I am commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission. I am not the one who will be going out there to start running after everything. There are other people who have taken over us, who are doing what they can do. And there are other people who certainly can do a lot more. There is civil society. I am focusing on the one thing that I am now responsible for, the fight against corruption. So the Renaissance in me is showing in the fight against corruption, and you all are seeing the result.
Okay. So there we go. T-Boy, you get anything? You are muted, T-Boy.
Okay. I think there is one more question.
Okay, I'll take that one from you, then I'll try to a couple more questions that will round up, so we'll let the commissioner go.
Okay. One of the questions says, since then, don't declare corruption, say now one of the most common practice within the parliaments of Sierra Leone and also State House. As a commissioner, are you worried about that situation at all? Or are you thinking, is this something that is just being said without being investigated, even though this is now worrying situation from people already within the system themselves saying that?
Because that's an important question, because some of the institutions that we get for support you work for, let you succeed and support the institution. Are you worried?
Listen, we were investigating Parliament even before this perception survey came out. And we have been public about it. there is a serious, one of the biggest investigations that is happening against in the ACC right now is the investigations into the parliament's funds, which were ignited by the argument between Honorable Tawa and Paran Trawali on radio democracy. And that investigation is in advanced stage. We are going to come out with a report. So it's not like parliament is not being investigated. It's totally untrue. It's just the product of people trying to smear our work. But we actually are investigating parliament. Even when Honorable Gebao came out, we have opened an investigation. And the first person we spoke to was Honorable Gebao himself. If we didn't want to do anything about it, we're not going to invite Gebao to speak to him. But if Honorable Gebao came and said nothing, directed us to nothing, and we have nothing, it does not mean that we have abandoned the investigation. As a matter of fact, we are furthering the investigation. That is why we requested from the public to say, if anybody has ever been asked to pay something in parliament because you went there for anything, come forward. To date, nobody has come.
Okay. But
in the millions of issues that may have happened over the years, we are expecting at least one or two people will be courageous to come and say, yes, I went to parliament. I wanted to be confirmed. I went to parliament for confirmation. Nobody asked for a single dime. Nobody did. I took my bill to parliament. The Anti-Corruption Amendment Act 2019 was taken to parliament. Nobody asked me for a dime. I certainly did not pay a dime. So we need people who have experienced this to be willing to come forward, and then we move forward. But to assume that investigations are not taking place is the most untrue thing. We certainly are investigating, but we can only say that we have something substantial when we do. So we are looking into it. The presidency, for example, I've told you, Fatmata Edna Kabo was secretary to the president at the time she did the video in Nigeria. We started investigation. She stood aside. We completed the investigation and came with a conclusion for the president. We came with a conclusion for everybody to see. So you cannot say that we are not investigating the presidency. If we have evidence of corruption that points to the presidency, and when I say the presidency, of course, we know the presidency includes a lot more people. It's not just about the president alone. We'll certainly look into it. And as I speak with you, we have set up what you call integrity management committees in State House. Basically, integrity management committee is one of our prevention drives where people are there who are like a microcosm of the Anti-Corruption Commission looking into what is happening in the presidency so that it does not become corrupt. That is there, and it was established. It was not objected to by the president. It was not objected to by the chief minister. It was not objected to by the secretary to the president, and they are there. So basically, no one should assume that we are letting go of any institution or we are afraid of any institution. No. Yeah. We know our mandate. All our work is geared towards securing our mandate, and we'll keep doing so.
Right. So, Mr. Commissioner, a couple of things the way you mentioned right now that, example, the former scope to president, investigate and I himself talking on television about building a house in 2 years and so on and so forth. But we see a lot of people in the past government being charged or being asked to pay back for similar things, say them they live above their means. And we see again things and the people and they talk that say you have people that have served in 2 years, 3 years in office or less than 3 years are building houses today. But then they say the Anti-Corruption Commission or they investigate that. So
no, listen to me.
Go ahead.
It is not because somebody is building a house means he has stolen money to build it. It is not the conclusion. Okay, that is why you declare your assets when you come in. Okay. So, for example, I was building a house since 2016. Mm-hmm. Okay, before I was appointed commissioner. You understand? If I complete that house now when I am commissioner, does that mean that I have suddenly stolen all the money at ACC to build it? It's a question of evidence-led accusations. It's a question of what your asset declaration can confirm or not confirm. So if people say that Minister Y, for example, I see a lot of people come and say, oh, somebody is building 2, 3 houses. You now tell them, show me one of the houses, just show me one. I will take you in my car, nobody knows, it's only you and I, just point that this house is being by Minister Y. You call them in the evening, they don't pick up their calls anymore. You see them the next day, you tell them, where is this house? They tell you, oh, well, me say, somebody be tell me, and somebody be tell that person, and somebody be tell that person. They can never. But let's not assume that because you built a house, suddenly you are corrupt. There are many people in the past government who built houses. They are living in them comfortable today, and nobody's asking questions of them. Not because nobody wants to ask them questions, but because they can justify it. They can show. If somebody was working for United Nations for the past 20 years and he has now been appointed a minister and he's paid his pension, do you say he cannot take that money and buy a house? Simply because he's now a minister, it is because he's been here for 1 year. It is that 1 year money that he has stolen that he's built. But all these things, we are not even saying that it cannot happen. It's a question of evidence. It's a question of supported evidence. And I can tell you this. We do not go to the HTC and say, now today, we will not go fight corruption. Or people in the current government go thief and we left them. So no. It is about what we can establish and prove. And another we don't make the asset declaration system so robust right now. The compliance rate very high. By next year, we don't reduce before we declare every year. Next year, there is no declaration. Now next year, then I will take now for verify all the assets there. Then the time will take for monitor everybody's lifestyle. Then the following year, we have another declaration here. So basically, the system has been built for success. All we can say is, believe in me. If we have been appointed to do this job, believe in us. And what is bad is, other people are coming to look what is happening in Sierra Leone. They say, yes, 5 years ago things was terrible, but now it's better. And we, the same Sierra Leoneans, are saying, no, you're wrong. It is not, nothing is changing.
Well, they must say,
what do you want them to say?
The Sierra Leoneans, they will argue, say, now the data will not provide them people and then they go by. But they see every day, the corruption culture, right? Because even the president, even the president, Mr. Kaifala, even the president during a Al Jazeera interview, agree say corruption a big problem. He agree, he accepts say himself, don't involve in corruption. So it's a big problem. If from the top don't agree say corruption, yes, he really
92% of Sierra Leoneans. Let me tell you, that very data day, like the one that was done by the PFM consortium, 92% of Sierra Leoneans say that corruption is a major challenge in Sierra Leone.
Right.
So it's true. Francis Kaifala, sitting down here as Commissioner of Anti-Corruption Commissioner, agrees that corruption is a major problem. But what I do not agree with is that attempt and reward of the fight against corruption is about the effort that you are putting towards it. What are you doing as a country about it?
Right.
What I do not agree with, and I disagree very strongly, is for anybody to say that the effort that is being put towards controlling corruption now is not a good effort. That is not possible. What we are doing right now, people are coming from Malawi, Uganda. Today, somebody was from Liberia in my office. The head of the Law Reform Commission in Liberia was in my office today. People are calling from Nigeria. People are from Ghana and everywhere are coming to study what we are doing in Sierra Leone right now so that they can export it to their countries. People are going to conferences in Mozambique. I sit down, somebody says, I am sitting down in a hall in Mozambique. And they are calling your name here and saying that they should have somebody like you in their country to fight corruption. It is happening.
So even
people are going United Nations meetings all over the world, in Ethiopia and everywhere. They come back to say, I was sitting down in that conference. As a Sierra Leonean, I felt so proud because when it came to fighting corruption, the only example in Africa that we were given was Sierra Leone. Why don't we as a people believe this? Why don't we as a people accept the good effort that we are putting in?
The people
I agree if anybody says that we are not fighting corruption. Yes, the effort that we are putting to fight corruption right now is more than ever has existed before.
The people of Sierra Leone believe that corruption is a major issue. Corruption must be tackled, and it's everybody's business. And the people believe, say, the Anti-Corruption Commission supposed to do their work. What the people are
92% of the people of Sierra Leone get confidence in that anti-corruption is doing very well.
Yes. Yes. But then you get a whole lot where believe say back the Anti-Corruption Commission, they pick and choose, then they cherry pick, then they pick.
But we don't get a conversation around that. I don't tell you say it's not true, it's not possible.
Anyway,
let us come with the evidence. Let us show me where you ask them and talk about the chief minister. But I've told you that the most unfounded allegation that I have seen as a commissioner of anti-corruption commission, I am saying this all honesty, the most unfounded allegation ever against any public servant in Sierra Leone is that allegation of 1.5 million against the chief minister. It was totally untrue. There was no supporting evidence for it. Sarti, he knows within himself that there was no basis for it. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go? I am not persecuting people. We are merely doing our job in the interest of the public to clean the anti-corruption space for the people of Sierra Leone. It is not a persecution. If there is no evidence, there is no evidence. Nobody will force me to do anything against my conscience. But I can tell you this, when I wake up in the morning, I dress up in suit, put my tie, go down there, enter that car, drive to that ACC to do my job. There's only one reason why I go there, to fight corruption. And there is no way evidence will ever come to my attention. There is no way I will have a lead for corruption. And I sit down and say, no, this is what I am going to leave it. I will do something about it. That is the oath I took when I was sworn in as Commissioner of Anti-Corruption Commission, and I will do it to the last day when I leave that office.
We appreciate that very much. And I will ask one last question, then left you to Tiboy, they will round up, please. The question I will ask, it has to do with the work of the commissions of inquiry and the Anti-Corruption Commission. We know for say there are cases which started where the government take over, Anti-Corruption Commission begin investigate some people, okay? The commissions of inquiry started, now it don't end, reports don't come out to a large extent. They don't can dump the burden on UNA, okay? So we see part of the report where some of we see in the white paper, some of not able to see all the thing, that you still have cases that you're investigating. Some people then they will get for appeal within 90 days or something like that. So let me ask you honestly, do you think the resources spent on the commissions of inquiry, if they've been divert that resources to the Anti-Corruption Commission, give them the manpower and every financial resources, una for be achieve more in una work than waiting the commissions of inquiry? Because now everything don't come back to una. Una therefore deal with most of those cases.
Well, you see, a lot of things happened at the time when the commission of inquiry was set up. At that time, I was not even on the scene when the GTCI was done. Remember, my appointment came a little bit later.
Correct.
By then, there had been a transition team, they had come out with the report. And don't forget, the commission of inquiry was the manifesto promise of the president even before he became president. So you have to look at it from that point of view, that that promise had to be followed. But again, this kind of robust anti-corruption fight that we are having with the Scorpio Squad, looking over to sting anybody who is corrupt, was not what we were seeing before. So probably a lot of Sierra Leoneans are now reviewing the situation because they are now used to this new successful fight against corruption, at least by what they see and hear. The level of conviction that we are having is very high. Trust me, a lot of people, I hear people say, oh, anti-corruption is losing cases. How many cases do we lose? Ask yourself. Out of 30 cases, we have lost only 6. So how do you say anti-corruption is losing all the cases? But all these kinds of statistics are coming out, and now people are now reviewing the situation. What I can say about the Commission of Inquiry is that it is good for Sierra Leone. It sets in motion what we call a cycle of accountability. It makes people who are in governance to know that one day they will answer to somebody. And it will make them more responsible. At least that is what I will assume. So beyond our own role as Anti-Corruption Commission to do our job, which we are going to continue to do, whether or not there's Commission of Inquiry, whether or not there are findings and conclusions of the Commission of Inquiry, I think that was good. And that is where, when lawyers were saying that the ACC has to wait for 90 days, and I got very angry. Firstly, because they were misquoting the law, they were misinforming the public, and I challenged them publicly to come with the law, and up to now, none of them can do. They are relying on appeal. So if you appeal, fine, you can appeal, but when you appeal, you have to go for stay of execution. Of all the decisions of the Commission of Inquiry that have come, and not a single soul has gotten one stay of execution since the cases we are filing in court. So the ACC should sit down singing Kumbaya, my Lord, waiting for 90 days. For what reason? I have a mandate of 5 years. 2.5 years has gone. You want to remove 90 days from it, then later you say that Francis Kaifala was a failure because he did not do his job. No, nobody's going to.
So you say people not appeal at all, or they not ask for stay of.
I say they appeal, but nobody not gets stay of execution yet.
Okay.
So which means nobody's hands is tied right now to speak. They could execute those judgments against them. If it were not for the government moratorium to say we are not going to do anything about it for 90 days, particularly for money judgments, the government could have been taking their money by now. But now the government decision say no, we give them 90 days. It does not mean there is any 90 days in the constitution which says that people's hands are tied. Certainly the anti-corruption hand is never tied at all. So all I can say is the Commission of Inquiry was a good thing. We think that it is more complementing our efforts, and we believe, say, because it is a complementary effort, who side they stop, we go take her from there. So yes, if they forgive the resources, we for still able to do it and do, but not so bad that they do it. Who side they don't stop, we go take her from there. And we go still need resources for do them, and we will still continue for us for resources for do them. The need for strengthening we, if we get for do all the other cases that we don't dump on we. But we not sit down for wait for that, we will continue for do what we will do. Progressively, I'm sure we'll be able to solve some of them, most of them. Okay, which we not able to do, we other people that come, they will continue from there.
All right, thank you so very much for that. T-Boy, over to you, and a little roundup, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. I get a few more last things for say. One specific question, we don't last for too long. The person they say, if crime prevention is part of the duties and functions of the anti-corruption, if so, why is it that the anti-corruption stopped short in intervening between the AG and the people of Sierra Leone for stopping the auditing of COVID-19 funds, given the AG's position that the country is in public health emergency? And secondly, as the current commissioner of the anti-corruption, I know say you really want for fight against corruption. So you feel say the past two predecessors, the way you get with JFK and Ade Macaulay perform woefully, and for that reason you not feel to say they should be summoned for anti-corruption inquiry, because the fact that most of them 2 or 3 times they wouldn't do, corruption still hasn't been cut down in any level. You feel to say therefore walk away free based on the fact that you are creating strides now within the commission itself? Those are the 2 questions.
Well, I think say every commissioner get your approach. You see, Adi Macaulay, Joseph Kama, Abdul Tijankol, and even the men who were before him have played their own role and part, and they left their own mark. So I cannot judge them. All I can say is I am also playing my own role, and it's left for the public to judge. Let them compare and contrast. Let them decide. But I cannot say they should be held responsible. No. We are not operating under the same circumstances. I don't know their own circumstances under which they were operating. And certainly we do not have the same approach. We may not even have the same makeup. My own background and education may be different than them. So you cannot hold them responsible for anything they did. And I am not saying that they performed woefully. I think they did their best and they should be commended for that. But going forward, we should now focus on what is happening and move forward.
All right, thank you so much. We get so many questions. People, we get forget you now so again. I know say you're very busy, but people don't say they go boycott we show because we get questions their way will not ask you. I want for appeal to now, please not boycott, because the commissioner get limited time. We don't exceed that time the way it give. It take we months and months forget that. But please, when I bear with we next time we will ask the question. Commissioner, do I beg no one away again? You know, but just one institutional question where Anne-Marie asked, Anne-Marie Winters, say if the commission gets any intention, let me see, like I'll read it as it is. They say, thanks Ben for your time. Are there any plans in expanding the team, thereby having specialist breakdown in sections such as education and procurement?
Yes, thankfully we are about to complete our building. One of the difficulties we have is space. So the space makes it impossible for us to even recruit more people. But as we are about to complete our building and move into it, which is more modern, which is more spacious. We actually have to specialize. Particular, you have investigators for procurement issues, you have investigators for educational issues, all these examination practice. So basically, a kind of specialization within the ACC is going to happen. And of course, that requires more manpower, that requires more resources, but we are hopeful that we can be able to achieve that. So that's a very good question, but I can assure you that there are a lot of reforms to come, and certainly we are going to make sure that we continue to produce the results for this country. I can assure you that it is not impossible to fight corruption in Sierra Leone. We just need for the president to remain committed. We just need for the people themselves to accept the fight against corruption. And we who are leading the fight against corruption to have the courage to confront the issues. And it is that courage that brings me here, for example, to sit down and say, you can ask any question. And that goes beyond what we do by who we speak to. But it's also that courage for us to look at everybody and say, it does not matter who you are. If we have questions for you, you have to answer for them. And it's that courage that keeps us going day by day. So I thank you for giving me your time on this channel. I cannot promise coming back, but certainly when there are accumulation of issues and there's a need for me to address them, I can assure you that there is no way I will not give my time to answer.
But we wanted to promise, because we have viewers now who are protesting that they're going to boycott us if, because we have not asked them.
Tell the viewers, let them go to either my Facebook page or my Twitter page, or they can send email at info@anticorruption.gov.sl with their questions. I can assure you that I will personally answer each of them.
Okay, and please make sure you review this program, so you might want to answer those questions, privately.
I will not answer the questions there, but like I said,
you inbox them individually if you have time, or maybe allocate.
Yes,
people.
I will review it to see what is happening. But thank you, you guys
Thank
have been
you so
amazing.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you.
Let's keep the conversation going, but don't forget, we also rely on you to pass on the correct information to the people. Our people.
Well, for us, we'll only pass on that information if we have you, and at least thankfully when we send you questions or send a message, you do respond. So that will give to you, unlike other people who don't even acknowledge to start with. But we keep saying that because people then they ask me, why don't they get people from government for can't talk? But they know they agree can Ben Kaifala way agree for camp. You don't count now they talk. So Femi, I see you get personal interest, you smile, and those message you get for Ben Kaifala before they go. Mr. Palmer.
Hello, Mr. Ba. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Hello, Juma.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us today. I think, we don't listen to Boku for say, as Juma say, the questioning too plenty. Me say some of the questions that I've been getting, a lot of them you don't already cover, and some of them Tibo and Juma don't already ask. But I will ask one great thing no more. You say you follow the trend, you follow the data, you follow the statistics. As a young man, we don't grow up, we born in men as Sierra Leone, me in particular in Afriton, and we see people that we shoot up from zero to superstardom, as in money wise, in the short space of time after them going to politics. I mean, maybe the evidence not there on paper, but that no warrant say we can actually go look at them and see who side and pull them money them, especially within our civil servants, and we know what's in their actual physical pay. Juma, over to you. I think my question was a bit too long.
Oh, okay, we lost him.
Yes, we did.
Okay, well, Fambulem, just like how they say, Femi they ask question, but we don't lost the Commissioner for Anti-Corruption. And we want to continue for apologize to now. We had loads of questions, but we're not able to ask all things. We will try again, and we just want to continue for apologize to now. Say it was not intentional, but there was so much we've been begging for actually for 1 hour, but we've gone over. We don't run the program for 1 hour 41 minutes, and we now all know say this is a national issue of national interest. So there was so much, and some of the questions and possibly no answer will probably dig more into them, but not so fat we can for comfort. Now clarification, we want for left the opinion given now, whether I think, say, the Anti-Corruption Commissioner do justice to the program, he answer the questions them, or if he left more questions for the people. So that's all we can do. We ask the questions, we provoke the conversation, and I think we tried our best. Not also T-Boy, what do you think, Femi?
I think we try our best, even though we not get enough time, but it's roughly almost the amount of equal time we can get. But you need to get Commissioner of Anti-Corruption. 2 hours still not enough for put them on the platform like this.
Yeah.
Actually, we get a lot of questions then for us. But like, you don't apologize to the group already.
Yeah, but I think they joined me back.
He's trying to come back. Even myself don't try for look at all the questions there, and there are so many of them. So I can't even go through them myself.
All right, so hold on, don't come let answer T-Boy quick. Then people here bug winner so but that incident na McKinney with the President EBK, former President EBK, how anti-corruption be handled that one day, whether the Anti-Corruption Commissioner do right, then we do what they're supposed to do, or they run and just make sure say they run publicity on the thing and not handle them responsibly. So, Mr. Commissioner, I don't know if you be hearing Mr. Palmer in question.
Actually, the computer and battery die out. And
right,
I have
okay.
to run
Go ahead, Femi, quick.
Okay, thanks for coming again. A quick question, really. I mean, they say, can you hear me, guys?
I hear you.
Juma, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So, I mean, they say if you follow the evidence and the statistics and the data, we don't see plenty young man them come from zero to absolutely fortunes them in the space of short time after they go now government. Yes, sometimes we not get paper evidence, but then they no dictate say we for able for at least chase them up, especially when we know where we know almost and get paid per year.
When I don't tell you say by next year we do what they call lifestyle audit. So lifestyle audit now you able to bring that out. When you took this office, if you declare your asset, we now match on to what you get during the time when you did at this office. Then for the time you say whether, for example, we see say you get Rolex, you get a new Range Rover, you get a brand new house. So we try for check now whether your resources commensurate to what you get. Maybe a loan the person take. Maybe the person get endowment from his father. Maybe something happened. You never can tell what happened. So you cannot just assume that because this person is living in this lifestyle is corrupt until investigations point it out. And I can assure you that we are going to do those kinds of lifestyle audits for trying to establish that. And if we do, there's no reason why we should not take steps.
Right. Okay, thank you. So the question where I be asked now that the people then say the last invitation of former President Nkrumah by the Anti-Corruption Commission being gets more of political undertone than actual reason for fight corruption. So they believe say the Anti-Corruption Commission handle the thing irresponsibly, then for we don't make sure say they handle them the way they suppose, how they don't they invite them before or send people them for good question and before on other matters of interest.
President Nkrumah is a citizen. We give him the respect as president. And when his lawyers asked that we should go to McKinney to speak to him instead of bringing him to Freetown, we obliged. We do not do it for other people, but we did it for him. We went there and we all saw what happened. There is no political interest. There is no other tone than for us to do our job, basically.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We're waiting to be your last word to Fambulem with the watch. And and to Sierra Leoneans, for let appeal to them, for let them continue. Whose confidence you go give for let them trust the Anti-Corruption Commission?
Me, what they say is this. As a country, we have suffered in the hands of politics. Things have gone bad for almost the 60 years of existence as a country. We have an opportunity to put it right. And efforts are being made to do so. They may not be in everybody's interest because for one reason or the other, you support some other person and you think that this other person will only benefit himself and things like that, but let's give it a try as a country. Let's give it a try. Let us set in motion a cycle of accountability. If we set down the emotion very well, we'll be able to change the story of this country. We'll be able to build on that. So that if anybody is in office or in power, you will know, say, the collective is more important than the individual. And we all work together for make we get better for everybody. For make Sierra Leone become a country, we will be respected by other countries. We will be among countries that we will call great. I know say it's not easy. We live in a very toxic political environment. There's a lot of cynicism deployed in the system. There are a lot of filters with which we view when people communicate. We see them with colors, we see them with regions, we see them with tribe, we see them with affiliations. But there's only one Sierra Leone, and nobody is going to come to fix it for us but ourselves. So if somebody has an opportunity to fix it now, let us give them the support to do so. And let them be given the opportunity to benefit from the doubt. I thank you all.
Thank you. So Femi and Ben Kaifala, now I will call you by your name, Francis Ben Kaifala, then get common interest. They are now make an announcement quick because I get for charge big money for that announcement the way they can make. Last week I give them free pass. This week I need to give them free pass. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Femi.
Hello, yes. Juma, we gladly we dey tell una thank you, but we dey continue for do good work for Sierra Leone. And this another I don't pull me Sarah Jem Hato. This now they represent schools in a salon. You know, plenty schools there in a salon. We need help. We were there at the diaspora. Plenty organizations them within the diaspora they already do certain things for the old schools them and for schools in general. So at the appeal for make una support some of the measures they are so. But as Juma say, me and we special guests today are both old boys from the Sierra Leone Grammar School, and we want make una support with school. Although yes, it's a private school, but we dey give scholarship to with the old boys and they give scholarship to people them we're not able to meet the financial requirements them and we them picking and they do well for council with school. We they actually pay for students them for go through from one to go to the left the school. So we the appeal to una for help with the old boys, especially in this COVID time we better money no day. It's hard to fundraise. So we're coming up. Grammar School is coming up with a few fundraising events. We get one at the end of this month. Yeah, so we cancel. I think it's the 20. I always forget it. It's Sunday the 29th of November. We do a virtual concert, musical concert, and we ask una for join and come and donate any little thing una get some more, any small thing. 1 million, maybe not. 1 million, why not? 10 pound, 100 pound, $100, $1,000, anything where you get where you think they can make a difference. Now young people their life na Sierra Leone, we they ask for join we and can help we for make that difference. But again, as I say, the appeal now for all schools really. I think so with schools they need we help. We get small disposable income we within the diaspora, so we ask for help. But as I say, I'm a grammar school man, so they ask for do dandy. Secondly,
and a grammar school man, and I ask for join.
So add for that message they do a quick. Go ahead.
Yes, so Famulem Grammar School now produce myself we they do this very difficult task on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone. So I join una ask una for support Femi request. Then we come out with numbers and commit resources for help the grammar school old boys to succeed in the program. Mrs. Again for the online that day, and when I go see me they perform. Femi, you just tell me no more what I do.
No problem.
That's man. No.
I go tell you, sir.
Thank you very much and bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for coming.
Juma, one more thing.
All right, go ahead. I want to hear you, Femi.
Sorry, yes, again, sorry. If you're not a gamer, would actually put together FIFA tournament as well. Again, for raise money. So if you're a gamer, reach out to the Sierra Leone Grammar School. Even if you're not a gamer, if you begin and they play FIFA and you want to get involved. Literally, we just want to raise awareness about education and how we can able for sponsor picking them. I think I get the numbers wrong, but I think it's only £400 a child for a year. So imagine, if we the money man deny, so if we cable knock chest and say they sponsor one picking, imagine how good that would do. And you never know, something picking they go end up be the next ACC boss. And sometimes, he might help change things, the change what we want to see. Basically, one other event what they do, would they work with London Marathon. So if you able for run and you are run for save money, we have a few places na Grammar School for people and for join Grammar School and run for Grammar School. So if you are into London Marathon and you don't get the opportunity and you want to raise money, you can reach out to us and we will give you a space for run and raise money for charity and education in
Sierra Leone. So you go for run?
Me? My running days are over. I used to run though. I ran for Croydon. Okay. I've been going for Croydon and I kind of, was quite good back in the youthful days.
Not anymore. Eh? All right, over to you, T-Boy. Finally, a final word for today.
Well, today's program has been very encouraging, and I hope people they are not satisfied with the questions that are not being asked. But again, we cannot do justice to all the questions then based on the fact that even 3 hours is not enough to question Commissioner Ben Kaifala. So we do hope definitely we'll have him another time from now. But maybe this will open doors for local get more people and we in governance from being able to come and actually sit here and talk to us about things that are happening in Sierra Leone and how government operations they go through. So basically, some of the questions were being thrown at him and he said what he has to say. It's now down to you, the people, to make the judgment whether you think you're happy with the questions and the answers that we come up with. So basically, we hope to see you again soon on the same platform. I will leave everything with Juma, and for me, today look kind of cool. I don't look.
That's why I see you more relaxed today. I don't know why.
Kind of in a way. Tell me talk to us. You have for kind of the microphone.
Well, Famulem, tomorrow we'll get an interesting program here. We get Yusuf Jallo with we on the big Sierra Leone debates or the big debate. But tomorrow, now one-man gang we get because tomorrow, now the what you call them? Read the thing for we the Bondo mask, and let me just get that right. Yeah, so I have it here. So tomorrow we have, you see the $10, it don't lost again. I don't know, Tibo, now you didn't sabotage my phone. That's why I look, see. What have you done? Have you hacked my phone?
Now the Grammar School program, then they lost the program you want to talk about.
Okay. So tomorrow we get Yusuf Jallo, the Black Bondo Mask, and the African Woman. Interesting topic. How Yusuf Jallo connects with the Black Bondo Mask and the African Woman.
You gonna?
Right. So join me tomorrow if you want for no more. It's going to be a very educative and enlightening discussion with Yusuf Jallo, the Cowfoot Prince. And on Thursday, don't forget, we have the health show here. And this month, we're actually discussing which of the cancers?
Prostate cancer.
Prostate cancers. So we started yesterday, last Thursday with the ABCs of prostate cancer. So we'll continue with tomorrow. And on Tuesday, we have because the reason we make a mention now, we discuss a little bit when Cherno Alpha Emba and African Express. So he's gonna be with us on an exclusive on Tuesday for continue some conversation because the last time we make promises, right, T-Boy?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so I think you get more information we want for come for share. So we don't challenge them behind the scenes on certain things, but and there, of course another year within the Anti-Corruption Commission board state that some of the things they not believe say somehow so whistleblowing and so we go get an answer for like can clarify for we certain things them next Tuesday. So don't miss that program. Cherno Alpha Ember with the African Express is going to be with us live. And we will announce to Una the important program we'll get the following Wednesday, after that. So no one for Bona too much. But we appreciate Una come, and we let the spirit, in as much as Una ask questions, they won't able to answer all. But that just show, say, Una interest, and they make this program grow. So Una not give up. One day we will ask all Una questions, then we Una one follow ask the people then. Thank you so much on behalf of the CRGM media team. Mina Jumaba, they say tata.
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join us, host Chumaba.
For all Salon people and then party them. Sierra Leone Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.serragemmedia.org. Now who's tem these?
Our aim is to teach our pupils to be creative, critical thinkers, to be innovative, and to become the new entrepreneurs of Sierra Leone and Africa, moving the African continent beyond the 21st century.
Jobs are going to change. The nature of work is going to fundamentally change.
We realize companies are starting to hire on skills and not degrees.
Currently, I'm a self-taught coding beginner. I develop websites and basic applications. I've been interested in science and technology since I was 11. An up-to-date STEM lab gives us what we need, the tools, motivates us to do more.
The Scholarship and Innovation Working Group from Old Boys Association has been working with both Reverend Canon Ken Davis and Canon Lashite to see how they can increase science and STEM at the school.
STEM is important because pupils can learn how to solve real-world situations and pursue careers in web development, artificial intelligence, robotics, chemical engineering, and the sky is the limit to what a pupil can do.
So a vision for the future entails computing capability that would create a STEM innovation lab to provide all students with practical, engaging, and self-learning opportunities to gain digital skills.
One of the use of the microbit is to test for science experiments. In the case of agricultural science, we want to test for the soil. You can download information about the type of soil on your computer, and then you take the microbit, download the information on the microbit.
STEM gives us the knowledge, gives us the capacity. With the science, the technology, engineering, and mathematics, it helps you to be able to prepare for the future, to be able to earn your place in the future workplace.
The coding club is new, and we only have a few members for now. And very soon we will have a big coding club.
Let us give the young people the tools to become critical minerals or miners of their thoughts and ideas that will develop our countries, and also for them to play their part in creating a conceivable world.
All donations are appreciated, and all funds raised will go towards the development, implementation, and management of this first of a kind digital STEM lab in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone Grammar School, empowering students for tomorrow's world.
Silverstone Beats. People killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning, where is the love?
See this life going evil, we all have to give, oh, yeah, yeah. Cause all I see is evil, and too much killing of my people, yeah, yeah. Let's bless one another, yeah, yeah. So let's help one another. I sing again, yeah.
But see me, I don't see this can't seem really happen. This not for be education opportunity. Now in we need, let we learn for the share, not to all time for big greed.
You see this life, the live, you see where we lose or we know. Stop killing one another, let's stand together, yeah. Stop playing the hero, looking at each other like a zero. On the block with a C, money they pan make every day pan pre, yeah.
R.I.P. They took our boys, they take our joy, take our joy. This study time we stop now crime. Don't blind by this life, your future.
Stop the stabbing, stop the killing. Let's love one another. Peace.
Where is the
I see fighting every day, I see dying every day. Why don't we help each other and pave the way for a better life, a life that we all deserve? Instead of killing each other, why don't we preserve? So you wanna be a bad man, he's gonna be a badder man. You got a big knife, he's gonna get a bigger knife. Our people suffered for years in chains. Now we turn on each other, cut for gains. For the ones that send the youth to kill themselves, you pretend to be a father figure but only care for yourself. You are nothing but the flesh of the devil. You're evil, low life on another level. Think about the mothers and the pain they go through. You don't care for these kids, they mean nothing to you. But karma only knows the boomerang maneuver. One day the green reaper will be your remover.
This head of the range ranting up some sanctimonious food is as poetic verses, ruminate a prophecy given to a sentient dude. So I say it's at ease for you to listen and deduce the wisdom that's gonna liberate and galvanize you. Under the sun ain't nothing new, that for black on black crimes and breaking news. Under the sun ain't nothing new.
You gotta stand up, stand up for what you believe in. Gotta stand up, stand up for what is right. Cause if you got me, then I've got you too. Regardless of what you've been through, even when you're feeling blue. Do this if we try. There's no time to waste, no time. Together forever, whatever the weather.
me up on me hats, then I run. You will never go far if you don't know where you're from. So I don't do it for myself, I'ma do it for the young. Plead to my brothers, let's do it for the youngest. Why spend a bag on a jumper? Back where you're from, people dying with hunger. With people then they suffer. You then I argue, they bluff, it's copper. In the game, need for change. Like we not get up. Where's the love? Where's the love, yo? Where's the love? I said,
where is the love? Little youth, let's take time. Stop all the knife and the gun crime. Think of the future, paint that picture. Get a youth in the future. Peace gonna rain on me. Peace gonna rain on me. Yeah.
Let's stop the violence and come together. Get rid of knives and guns and bombs. Let's be together. Pray peace and love. Golden hope through storm and weather. See what is going on. Where is the love?
Tell me, how do you feel when you see your brothers and sisters lying down the street helplessly? And what will you do if you die today and find yourself in hell?
I want to ask you this. Look inside your eyes and answer me with all the truth. Where you get whose side the love day?
When I left. Boku man them get nef. If you live by the nef, you will suffer. You know get sense, you know sabi say nef not for butter. Stabbing guys, yeah that's uncool. When it comes to knives, yeah I'm anti. What happened to fighting guys with your hands, G? When you stab a man, it's not one man you stab. Just remember that you stab a whole family.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and hear them crying. You can practice what you preach, or you will turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. People got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love, the love.
As we talk about burning issues ranging from politics to the economy, culture to sport, education to entertainment, corruption to the environment, we realize the Sierra Leone story is far from finished. So, Sierra Leone Media Production brings you Zoom In. Zooming In is the program that engages everyday people, entrepreneurs, inventors, entertainers, activists, policymakers, and politicians to discuss and debate issues relating to Sierra Leone. Zooming In digs deep into the issues and stories. Zooming In ensures the debate is pushed to another level. Zooming In asks those questions that has never been asked before. So, join me, host Jumaba.